Pattern I'm going to tie here is called the Glasshouse Caddis. It's a pattern of mine that imitates the Brachiocentrus caddis. They're real common through the Rockies. This is probably the insect that has the densest biomass in most of the freestone rivers in the West. In the famous Mother's Day caddis hatch you hear about, this is the critter. It's got a dark colored little case, little green pupa pops its head out. And we're going to use a couple different little beads on it. A black bead for the head, and an olive or green colored bead for the neck of the fly. And this is a good fly, pretty much this is throughout the waters of the West. We're going to use two beads on this fly. I got a black metal bead. I got an olive or green colored glass bead. This black bead's basically the head of the pupa, and the green bead's basically the neck of the pupa. And it's poking its head out of its case as it gets dislodged or as it starts to emerge. What I do on a lot of my flies is cement the hook shank before I start the fly. This makes a big difference on durability. I use a dark colored 8/0 uni. This is actually an 8/0 uni. Works well on this. 6/0 Danville, somewhere in that size range. Black, brown, olive, just something dark, doesn't really matter. Build up a slight thread base. Trim off the tag. I'm going to tie in a piece of medium or fine copper wire. And this particular fly I'm tying right here is on a size 12 wet fly hook, like a 1X long. It's a Dairiki 060 heavy wire. And for like these longer bead heads, I like to use the a little bit 1X longer to 2X longer. Helps out a lot on the proportions of the fly. What I use here is the synthetic dub on this fly. This is an ice dub, which is the second generation of mylar dubbings. It's a lot finer than like say the old light bright is. It works well on small flies. Another thing I'll use is like a scintilla and a peacock color. We want kind of a dark colored case on it. They're kind of like chocolate brown to dark olive. Take and dub this on, and the trick with dubbing is get mean with it. Take a small amount. You get aggressive, pinch on that dubbing, and I intentionally don't wax my thread when I dub. I don't find it helps out that much, except for maybe with really coarse materials like sil. The reason I don't do it either is I can slide my little dubbing needle right up to the fly. This won't make much difference on a fly this size. You get down to 18s, 20s, 22s. It saves you a lot of bulk on the fly. And wrap the body. Wrap it up to the back of the black bead. As long as you end up with a few stray fibers, just take them, snip them if you want. Won't hurt anything. I'm going to reverse rib, break off that fiber, with a copper wire so that the segmentation in the case shows up. And since we're reverse ribbing, you kind of go on diagonal to how you dubbed. It just accentuates it more. Get up here, make about a wrap and a half, and we're done with the dubbing and the wire. What I usually use with wire to cut is a pair of toenail clippers, or a pair of little side cutters. This saves a lot of wear and tear on your scissors. Snip that, make a few wraps of thread, do a quick half hitch or whip finish. What I'm going to do is next is actually take my thumb and press in between the two beads. And what this did, actually it pushed back on that wire in the body so the match is right up against the bead. It gave me a little space because when I start that thread again, I wrap a hackle in front. So make a few wraps around. And to help us tie it off, just take and twist your tag end around your main thread a few times. Now we'll finally secure it. Snip that off. And it's time to tie in a hackle. We use a little domestic hen hackle for the collar. We want this to be roughly 1.5 to 2 gaps. I'll measure it against the hook. I'll break this one off. I'll cut the fluff off the hackle. Truck it back a few times. I'll make a snip on each side. So you have little tufts on the end to secure with your thread. And I want this to face curved back, so tie it in with the curve facing back. You're almost going to figure 8 wrap it in. Just make about 1.5 to 2 wraps. And tie it off. And hold it back, make a few more wraps. You can whip finish it. A drop of cement, and you're done. You got a good little pattern that imitates the dark color Brachiocentrus caddis that are so common in the West. You got the little head there, you got the neck poking out. And this hatch comes off a lot of times right around a runoff, so that little glass bead may actually give it a little flash to help the fish find it. Plus, a lot of times those actual larvae, actually say pupa at that stage, are actually pretty bright green, and they're actually shiny and translucent, almost like the bead. So it does a good job of imitating it.